So I wanted to start out with the fact that as a child, I was not normal. I did not play with Barbies. I, didn't style my hair with my girlfriends. I was a light seeker, and I didn't know what that word meant, but I knew I was one. And at first I thought I was a little introverted and weird, and I was okay with that, right? Sometimes we have to be. But no, I was a light seeker. So when I talk about a light seeker, what does that mean? That means that at every opportunity, I found a reason to be in the light, physically. Most of the time, that was daylight. So one of my favorite pastimes was riding my bike down to the fun forest. And I would go by the stream and I'd find this patch of ground where the light was filtering through the leaves, right, and casting that pattern. And I would just lay there and I'd bask in the sun. And then when I came home, I would get all those little crystals and I'd put them in my windows so that the sunlight coming through would just scatter light, rainbows, and they'd like dance on my walls until dusk. And I was happy, right? I didn't understand the biological effect or the psychological effect, but I loved it. And, I realized that my love for light has been a touching stone for every moment of my life. From my love of Impressionism during painting, I got my BFA in painting, daylighting in architecture, and also what I'm passionate about right now, which is the science and technology behind proper lighting design in buildings that I've been doing for 18 years. And I think people really don't understand the true impact of light. So just one example, how many of you have been in a hospital? Right? Have a loved one in a hospital? Did it feel like you were in the setting of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest and you want to jump out the window? Right? Right, okay. So studies show that if you properly design a healthcare setting with good daylighting, good lighting, what happens is patients use less pain medication. They recover faster, right? The caregivers have less stress, and the staff make less mistakes. I mean, that's huge. So with information like that, why don't we do that more often, right? And this was a problem that I think kept me up for a very long time. And I started to get really, really depressed about my job because I felt like my hands were tied and I could not make the impact I wanted to do. And in 2015, lo and behold, I hear about EWITS. And I'm like, oh, this is an interesting program. I'm not sure if it's a good fit for me, but let's go, right? So the first day I get there, they're doing introductions. PhD, doctor, physicist, researcher, BFA, hi. I'm like, okay, I was so unqualified, I mean, seriously. And I'm looking around the room, and the first thing I thought was, I don't belong here. There was no way that I could contribute in any meaningful way at all. And I really wanted to quit, but I didn't. I kept going, I learned, I participated, and if anyone from my old group is here, I'm sorry, because I sucked. But what it really did for me was it created a spark. It gave me this moment of clarity where the problem that I saw of people not benefiting from good lighting, all those reasons, that was going to be my problem. I was going to fix that problem. And I could because I knew the players, I knew the reasons, I knew the hurdles. So why not me? And it's really funny because that artist in me starts taking over, right? And I'm dreaming vivid, like lucid dreams of these dashboards, and they're all crazy and connected, and I sketch up my app for this, this phone app, and it's so cool. And I start going, I think I have something here. And I started talking to people to see if I had something viable. Oddly enough, my first mentor was introduced to me by someone I met at a charity luncheon. And then after that, it just started steamrolling, you know. And it's true that it takes a village to raise a startup. It really does. And over the last 2.5 years, let's see, I have participated in EWITS, Startup Roadmap, Startup Quest, UF Mentor Protege Program, Santa Fe IPDC. And, you know, I think I've benefited from all of those programs because they all offer something different for entrepreneurs. And what I found amazing was this sense of community, right? This community of raising entrepreneurs and helping them from ground up, and that there were so many incredible people in this community that I see in here that if you ask them, they will help, and they're truly committed with helping you. So, you know, as I go through this journey, like I said, it's been 2.5 years, I'm going to have to admit it's been hard. That is something you don't always hear right away. It is really hard. I have failed lots. There are several times when I hit bottom, I really wanted to give up. But I can say that the universe was not ready. They said, nope, you have a job to do. So one example is, I was in St. Augustine and I was doing a job doing exterior lighting design for a historical building. So I stopped at this little hole in the wall to have lunch, you know, where it's almost like a family setting, right? You're sitting on people's laps. And I was sitting there eating by myself, and I hear this couple over here talking. And I wasn't trying to be nosy, we were just that close. And they started talking business lingo. And I'm going, excuse me, do you mind if I ask you a personal question? And they said, no, go ahead. And I'm like, you know, I kind of explained that I'm doing a startup and I have this business thing going, and I'm like, you know, is this journey really worth it? And they looked at each other and they actually laughed. And Don, which is funny because that's my father's name too, hello, he said, of course. He's like, I knew that this business was meant for me, and I had faith in myself. And if I did not do that and did not take that leap of faith, I would live to regret it. And he told me, if you have an opportunity, take it. Because the most bittersweet thing is looking back in life with regret. So he was very emotional, and I cried. When I got in my car, I cried because I had such a hard journey, and I wanted to quit. But I didn't, so here I am. I have a prototype. I have a provisional patent. I have, and I'm proud to say I'm making a lot of milestones. No matter how slow they are, I'm getting those milestones. And I would not be here without this community. And this is definitely not for the weak. This is for the bold, right? And everyone who goes down this journey, you are bold. And I'm going to say, you know what? I think every one of you here's a light seeker. And I really want to bring healthy light to everybody. And that's my story.